Assalamu alaikum. Hello, how are you, grade 6? This is Miss Abir, and today, inshallah, we are going to take a new lesson which is weight and mass. In this lesson for today, we are going to learn many things. The first thing that we are going to learn is the factors that affect the gravity, the meaning of weight, and how to find weight from mass. Okay, let us see what are the new words that we are going to learn: weight and mass. Okay, let us remind ourselves what is the meaning of gravity. We said in the previous lesson that gravity is a force that tends to pull or attract objects toward each other. So we said before that force is a push or a pull that makes things move. Gravity is a pull. It is the force that makes us pulled toward Earth. Okay, but what are the factors that affect the force of gravity? Is gravity the same or it changes? Yes, gravity is not always the same because there are two factors that affect the gravity. The first one, we said it is mass. If the mass was greater, if the mass increases, so the force of gravity will increase, as you can see in this picture. More mass, more gravity. Less mass, less gravity. So as mass increases, the force of gravity increases. And also we said the other factor that affects the force of gravity is the distance. How far substances from each other. المسافة. So as the distance increases, the force of gravity decreases. Let's explain what does that mean. Okay, so as you can see in the picture here, we have mountain and we have the sea. The mountain is actually the distance between the mountain and the earth surface is far away. So the gravity will be less in high altitudes. In high mountains, the gravity is less, but the gravity in the sea, or if you are walking in the sea, it will be greater. Why? Because the distance is decreasing. So as distance decreasing, the force of gravity will increase. So gravity is less in high altitudes. As we go far away from the Earth's surface, so as the distance increases, the gravity will decrease. So sometimes we are saying that gravity is high, sometimes we are saying that the gravity is low, the gravity is big, the gravity is small. But how can we measure the force of gravity? You know, my dears, if I want to measure the length, I use the ruler, I use centimeter, right? Now, if I want to measure the force of gravity, if it's big or small, what can I use? Let's see. We use weight to measure the force of gravity. If I want to explain or describe if the gravity is big or small, I use the word weight. It will explain the gravity force. So what is the meaning of weight? Actually, weight is a force. Weight is a force and it measures the pull of the gravity. If the gravity is high or low, big or small, who will describe it or who will measure it? It is the weight. Okay, we usually use weight actually in our daily life, but is there any difference between mass and weight? Let's see. Okay, actually, my dears, when you use the scale to measure your mass to see how heavy are you, This is actually the mass. So when we use the scale, as you can see in the pictures, we use the scale to know how heavy are our bodies. Okay, so for example, my mass is 60 kilograms or your mass is 40 kilograms. The apple's mass is, let's say, 60 grams. So mass is the amount of matter in an object, how heavy the substance is. This is the meaning of mass. Mass is measured in kilograms and weight is measured in Newton. Okay, do you remember when we said who discovered the force and the gravity? Newton, the scientist Newton. So that's why if I want to measure the weight, I say it is measured in Newton because weight is a force. This force describes or measures the force of gravity, whether it's big or small. So if I ask you what is your mass, you will tell me how heavy are you when you use the scale, which is like 50 kilograms, 60 kilograms, but weight is different. Why? Because it is a force and I measure it using Newton. Okay, if your mass is 50 kilogram, it will be the same in different planets. Here in the pictures we have different planets. Okay, if you are heavy, if your mass is 50 kilogram, it will not change whether you are on Earth or on Uranus, for example, let's say, or on the moon. So it will be the same. But what it changes, actually only your weight changes. Your weight changes because weight is a force that measures the pull of gravity. Do you remember when we said that gravity is a pull force? And this gravity force changes as the mass changes. And you know that planets, they don't have the same mass. Some planets are greater in mass than other planets. So some planets have great force of gravity, and some planets, they have small force of gravity. So how can I measure the gravity if it's big or small? Yes, as we said, we can measure the gravity force if it's big or small by using weight. So only your weight changes because weight is a force that measures the pull of gravity. And gravity changes according to mass. According to the planet mass, the gravity will change, so your weight will change. Please, I want you to focus at this picture. Here we have the same man. This man has the same mass. What is his mass? Yes, very good. It is 60 kilogram. On Earth, on Moon, or on this planet, so it is 60 kilogram. So this man mass does not change in different planets. It is the same. But what is it changing? Yes, it's his weight. His weight on Earth, it is 60 Newton, as we said that we measure weight using a Newton unit. And his mass on the moon, it is 10 Newton. And on another planet, his weight is 141 Newton. So only the weight changes, but his mass is constant. It does not change. So how can we find weight from the mass? Are they connected to each other? Actually, we can find the weight from the mass by using a simple formula. Let's see it. So if we want to calculate the weight, if we want to find the weight, actually we can use a very simple formula, which is weight equal mass times gravity constant. Weight equals mass multiplied by gravity constant. So it is very simple. It is a very simple formula to find the weight. We need mass and the gravity constant. We multiply them, then we will get the weight. So instead of saying weight, we will use the symbol of weight, which is W. And I will take the first letter of mass and I will say M multiplied by gravity constant. Gravity constant is symbolized by G. So W equals M times G. Okay, as we said that we measure weight in Newton. This is the unit of measuring weight in Newton because it is a force. And we measure mass in kilogram. And we measure the gravity constant in Newton per kilogram. My dears, you have to memorize these units.